Hi, I'd like to welcome everyone to another in a series of Department of Transportation related webinars. I'm Terry Bills, I'm the Transportation Industry Manager here at Esri, and today we have a full crew on board to discuss a new product at Esri. I'm joined by Ismail Shavit, who's the Product Manager for QuickCapture, then Tom Brenneman, who's a Sales Engineer on the Transportation team, and Michelle Bush, who is the marketing lead for the QuickCapture product. We try to cover a variety of topics of interest to the DOT community, each designed to help you understand specific Esri technologies and ways that you can drive performance improvements in your own organizations. So today's webinar is focused on a new product scheduled to be released in July, and which is designed to expedite some of your field crew and field data collection efforts. This product, like the others in our field data collection suite, is designed to be fully integrated into the suite of applications designed for your field workers, your inspectors, your maintenance workers, or anyone who spends any amount of time in the field. This product is designed to be used by your field inspectors who want to collect information while traveling down the highway without leaving their truck. And as a result, this application is designed to be simple to use and facilitate data collection at speed. So before we begin, I'd like to point out that we are recording this webinar, and while everyone will be on mute, there will be time for question and answers at the end of the presentation. You can type your questions into the question box, and we'll try to get to answer as many as time allows. Additionally, the slides that you will see today will be posted on the state DOT GeoNet site. You can download them after the webinar is over. That includes links to not only the QuickCapture pages and the ability to download, but also other resources and training opportunities. So to begin, just briefly, Esri's designed and built a series of downloadable applications, all designed with your field workforce in mind. There are now 4 different applications for data collection, each designed for different requirements, and 2 others to help you manage work orders and efficiently navigate to the job site. One for simple map exploration, and a final one designed for supervisors to track work performance. These applications are designed to be complementary to any existing asset management and work order management system that you may be using, and really to help bring greater efficiencies to those systems. And certainly I can say from Esri's perspective, we've been really quite impressed by the quick uptake of these applications and how many great success stories and cost savings have already been documented. The number of state DOTs and other agencies that are now using iPads and other tablets for inspections and maintenance activities is growing exponentially. So the basic challenge facing most organizations is that they have a large number of workers who are continuously in the field, and often those crews are working off of paper information which may or may not be current. And at the same time, because it is paper, there are few effective ways to bring that information back into your corporate systems to update the databases with changes from the field. I can't tell you how many organizations I've seen where the latest and most current information about their assets is sitting in the back of the maintenance worker's truck, marked up on a route logbook or similar document. So ultimately what we want to be able to do is to move those paper processes to modern workflows so we can have a seamless data coordination between field and office. And at the same time, we want this process to be as simple as possible, recognizing that your field crews are not GIS experts and that they have developed a pre-existing workflow over many, many years. It's in this context that we've designed these applications, and ultimately, how can we give your field crews powerful tools for the field, but that are also simple to use? But perhaps the best way is, let me turn this over to Ismail, and he can describe in greater detail the quick capture and the release timeline, and we'll do a couple of demos as well. So Ismail, over to you.
Hey, Terry, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. I'm going to give a brief overview of the ArcGIS QuickCapture product, and I will also do this with Tom, who is going to do a live demonstration, and with Michelle, who is going to describe some user stories. So, as you described already, QuickCapture is really part of our larger strategy in Esri to help you optimize your field operations with the power of location. Within the ArcGIS platform, we have an array, a suite of different solutions and applications to improve the way people work in the field, with tools that help people in the office plan field activities, understanding where people need to do work, but also with actual mobile GIS applications to help you navigate to places, understand assets around you, and of course, specific user experiences to boost field data collection activities. The beauty of the ArcGIS system is that all of these applications work together. So while people are capturing data in the field, you have tools in the back office that can help you display that information in real time to support better decision making. In terms of data capture, I actually got in trouble about a year ago when Terry and Tom told me, look, we do have some applications for data capture, but nothing that is really optimal for certain workflows that our Department of Transportation people really need, because they spend a lot of time in the field actually driving, and our existing applications require a lot of attention. We need something that is truly simple and effective at capturing quick field observations efficiently. And it is in that context that we started putting together this idea of creating an application for this special modality of data capture. ArcGIS QuickCapture is Esri's rapid data collection app. You can think of it as a big button mobile app. It's really the simplest way to capture field observations. All you need to do is to simply tap a button, and that will actually capture a GIS feature. Because of this minimalistic user experience, this application is ideal for at-speed data collection workflows. I'm going to basically show you very quickly here a quick demonstration of the application so you can see what it is really about. The concept of QuickCapture is very simple. You can configure different projects tailored for different workflows, at-speed workflows in your organization. And then when you open these projects, you are going to be presented with a list of big buttons. And the idea is, again, very simple. As you are driving along a road, you can
start sidewalk right,
tap a button, and this button is now active. It's capturing as you move a polyline representing a sidewalk on the right. As you get close to a, say, pedestrian crossing, you simply tap on that button, and this will create a point feature. If you happen to need to capture multiple features at once,
start bike path right, start sidewalk left,
simply activate the buttons that you want. This is right now capturing 3 polylines at once. This application is typically used while on the go. And for that, I'm going to share with you this little video we recorded just a week ago, testing the application. So you can see here, Tina and June, they are part of the QuickCapture team. They are doing a field test. You can see this button in the application is active. It means it's capturing polyline as they move along. You can see here the map with the location,
sidewalk right,
the location with the location of the car and how they are capturing information. Note how the in this case the sidewalk is being captured as the car moves along because the sidewalk button is being active. And now we're going to approach an intersection.
Pedestrian crossing. Start sidewalk left.
And now we are capturing 2 polylines at once. So, you can imagine how this technique can help you configure projects for your own purpose with your own GIS features to effectively capture information as your field crews are on the road. Next, I'm going to speed this up to Tom Brenneman, who is going to comment on how this application has been piloted across different departments of transportation. Tom?
I'll share my screen now, and you should be seeing my my phone there. But yeah, I want to show you some examples of how QuickCapture could be used at a DOT. And I've talked with several DOTs about using this app, and we've got several examples, Colorado and Maryland, that Michelle will go into in more detail later in the case studies. But I've kind of taken some different ideas from each of one of them of how this application can be used, and I've got a quick demonstration on how you might put it into practice. So you can see here I've got a variety of mobile apps. I'm going to open up there the QuickCapture app, and I've got different projects that I can capture data in. The first scenario that I want to go through with you is one that is just some simple road condition data collection, and I'll be collecting potholes and from road condition. I also have the option, I'll open up here, it's this one here at the top, road condition data collection, and I've got right here at the top, I've got culverts. So if I want to do an inventory of my culverts while I'm out there, I can hit these buttons. This is a point layer. I've got potholes that I'm collecting as I'm going down the road. That's another point layer. And then right down here, we've got road condition. That's a linear feature. So that's going to collect the road condition as I'm driving down the road. Now, I thought about actually driving during this presentation, but I thought better of it, and so that I won't be moving for any of this presentation. And I am indoors, which as you look down here at the bottom, you'll see the accuracy. Naturally, because I'm indoors, my accuracy level, I don't get quite as good accuracy as if I was driving out there on the road, but I get that information reported to me in the app. And from a demonstration perspective, I couldn't think of really something to demonstrate that's easier than this. Being as Ishmael's described it, this is a single button click data collection tool. So if I'm driving along and I'm going over a pothole, I simply click this button right here. I'll hit it with my finger now. So there, it just collected a large pothole at my current location. And what happened is, if you see up here in the upper right, you can see that the number 1 showed up right there. If I click on that, I can see my current location and the point that was collected. And you can see, because the accuracy, it's moving around there. I can click on that point that was collected and delete it if I think it's in the wrong location, and put in a new one at the correct location. Or I could send that off to and synchronize that with the rest of my GIS. Before I do that, though, I want to show you these buttons down here at the bottom where it shows the road condition, good, fair, and poor. So those are linear features, and the way that they work is, I'll click here on good first. It says I'm starting collection of good roadway, and now I'm going to click on fair. Start fair. And I'm going to get rid of that last one because it's not, we're not collecting, I'm not going to collect that for this example. But the point here is that you see that fair button is pulsing, and it's showing you that we're currently collecting a linear feature as I'm driving down the road for the fair road condition. If I want to stop collecting that, I could do one of two things. Like I did, I switched from good to fair. The minute you switch to another one of these, and this is part of the configuration that they're exclusive, is if I switch to good, you'll see that fair will stop pulsing. Start good. And I'll get rid of any fair data collection there. and now you can see it's collecting good. So that's one way to turn off FAIR, but the other way is to just hit good again, and that will stop the collection of the linear features. So that's a way that you can collect data while you're driving down the road, and Ishmael showed that with the sidewalk example that they were collecting. So before I synchronize this, I'm gonna move this. Actually, I'll move it off my screen here, and I'm gonna show you a dashboard that I've got configured for this data. So I live here in Noblesville, Indiana, and I've done some data collection driving around town. I've got a high schooler who is learning to drive, so I had her drive me around while I collected some data. And I did a little bit of data collection this morning here right in my neighborhood, and you can see I've got some different road conditions: road condition good, road condition fair, and I've collected that data. I've also got some potholes that were collected along these roads. Those are some small potholes, and there is a medium pothole. The reason I wanted to show you this is to really reiterate this point that this is all integrated into a field mobility environment. So that it's not just a single application here with QuickCapture. It's built in, and you can leverage things like operations dashboards that you see here in my browser. Now what I'm going to do is, if you look over here, you can see that I've currently collected 56 potholes. I'm going to go ahead and click send on QuickCapture, and that will synchronize those changes, send them up to my GIS, and in just a moment you'll see the dashboard update, and there we go. Now we've collected 57 potholes. And this one's a little suspect in that it's currently over my house, so that's probably not a valid pothole, but these other ones are real potholes on the roadway. Now, to really drive this home that this is built into, or can be built into, a larger workflow, I want to show you what that would look like. And I'm going to go into a workflow where I'm going to take this data, that maybe this data was collected with someone that was a maintenance, someone that worked in the maintenance group at a DOT, and they were out inspecting the roadway and delivering this information back to the maintenance group. Well, what if I want to send people out to fill those potholes? How could we take it from here in order to take the next step and actually make this actionable? Well, for that, that's where Workforce would come in. So here I've got a project in Workforce. This is a different application, and this is the dispatcher for Workforce. So I'm logged into a web application where I can see my project, Noblesville Pothole Repair. That's my Workforce project, and I can see all the potholes that were reported via the QuickCapture app. I can see there's the one that was just collected. That was just collected at my current location. You can see my picture there, so that's where I currently am. And actually, I'll just go ahead and select all those potholes that were submitted, except for this one that's over the house. I don't think I want to send anyone out to fix that. So I'm going to select all those potholes, and I'll create assignments for all of those at once. I click Create Assignments. They all come in. I'll say that I want to fix the potholes. I'll assign it to me. Now I'm going to pretend that once I get done with this, that I'm actually going to go out in the field and fix these. But I'm going to give it a priority and then maybe a due date of today. And I'll just go ahead and click Create Assignments. And Workforce will create all those assignments assigned to me. There's my picture. And as from a dispatcher's perspective, I'm done. So now I'll switch roles, and now instead of a dispatcher at the maintenance group, maybe now I'm going to be someone who goes out and fixes I'm a maintenance worker who's going to go out and fix the potholes. For that, I'm going to open up the mobile version of Workforce, and I'll be able to see all the work orders that have been assigned to me, and I can sort them based on distance. I'm currently sorting them based on distance. So the closest one is 96 feet away, 99 feet away there. I can click on that one, go to that location, even use navigation. If you don't know where it is, you can navigate to that assignment, but I'm right there, and I'll go ahead and click start and then fix the pothole. We don't have an app for actually fixing the pothole. So from here, I'll just go ahead and click finish. And hopefully, if you're looking over here, you'll see that that fixed pothole goes from in progress, which is what it just was, to now it is completed. So as they're clicking these off the list, the field workers clicking them off the list, the dispatcher is seeing that that work is getting done in real time. So that's how QuickCapture can be built into this larger field mobility workflow. Now, I'd like to switch a little bit and just dig in a little bit more on QuickCapture. So we'll focus back here on just QuickCapture. I'm going to go ahead and close Workforce. I'm not going to show that anymore. So going back to QuickCapture, there's all of the projects that I have for collecting data. And I'm going to click on my profile up there on the upper right. I click right here on my picture, and I'm going to click on settings. I just want to show you some of the really awesome settings that are available in this app. One is the sound that gets that comes out when features are collected. In this case, I have it doing text to speech. That's why you may have heard large for large pothole when it was collected, or good and fair condition when I was clicking this. Otherwise, I could just have it beep. I find it nice to have the text to speech so I can be very clear as I'm collecting data in the field what I just collected. There's also an auto send setting. So by default, or the way that QuickCapture works is it's always offline initially. So all the initial data collection is offline, and that's one of the things that makes it so fast. But what you can do is you can set this up so that it automatically synchronizes on an interval. So you saw in the example I showed, I actually went and clicked a button to synchronize and send my edits up. You can definitely do it that way, which is really useful for workflows where you want to inspect an entire area, and then when you're happy with all the data, send it up at a particular time, or when you're connected to Wi-Fi. This might be if I'm just collecting a whole bunch of data and I want it to automatically go up every 30 seconds, I could turn that feature on. Stay awake right here, that one is so that it doesn't go into the screen doesn't lock while you're collecting data. And then provider down here at the bottom, this is really great because it allows you to connect directly to GPS devices. So if you have a GPS device that's external to the iPhone in this case, then you can absolutely use that GPS device and connect directly to it. And the great thing about this is you'll get faster refresh rates because those are more powerful GPS devices, and you'll also get, of course, higher accuracy and all the metadata that comes from that GPS receiver. So anything on like the number of satellites that it has acquired and things like that, all of that can come through and be stored with your with the data that you're collecting. So that's really a powerful feature, especially for those folks who have those existing GPS devices and want to take advantage of them. So those are the settings. I'll just come out of that. I want to show you a slightly different example. Actually, you know what? Before I show that example, I want to go back into this road data collection here. And I want to show you something about this and this application. So you see here under road condition, you might see a couple of things. One is road condition doesn't have a space in there. And also these buttons have a border on them, but these up here do not. So I want to show you real quick what the designer experience is like for the QuickCapture app. And if any of you have used QuickCapture via the Esri Labs project, this is going to be quite a bit different. So you definitely want to pay attention here. So now with the app, you got this great web designer that helps you take care of all the layout and design of these projects. And you can see the different projects that I had there. So if I wanted to do something like put a border around these buttons up here, I simply come over here, click border, and I'll just click on each one of them and click a border, and now they've got the same border and they have the same kind of look as those buttons at the bottom. I can also come down here and put a space in for road condition. That's better. And I can adjust the number of columns. So look at that. So now instead of having those 3 buttons across, maybe I want to make the buttons a little bit bigger and just put them in 1 column. If I'm happy with that, I click save. And that is kind of the basics of the data collection and the configuration of the data collection. You can see for each one of these, if I click on road condition good there, you can go and see what it's actually saving for each one of those button clicks. It's going to save a feature with the condition set to good, the condition attribute set to good. You could have multiple attributes over here that are getting configured. But those are the basics of the configuration. Now, once I've done that redesign and I click save here, I could come back over. I'll bring my iPhone back over. And now you can see, when I look at my iPhone, you see right here where it says project updates available. I'll go ahead and click that. It'll tell me, hey, this project has been updated. Do you want to update it? Sure, I'll update it. It downloads that project to my device. And once that's done downloading, I'll open that new project up, and you can see now it has that same kind of road condition. It has a space in it. I've got 1 column up here, 3 columns up here. So you can really control the look and feel of the application with this new designer interface. They've really done a good job with this. So I hope you find that useful when you're creating these projects. So the next thing I want to show you is an example that we developed after talking with Colorado DOT, and they wanted to go out and have their folks use QuickCapture, or they had their folks going out and doing night inspections and making taking notes on different assets that weren't meeting the correct criteria for their night inspections. So for that, we put together this example that I'll show you, and I'll put it here on my iPad. Let me share my screen here. There we go. There's my iPad, and I'll open up QuickCapture on the iPad just to kind of show you a different form factor. And you can see there's my updates available for that road condition data collection. But I'm interested in this CDOT night inspection. So night inspections are something that every DOT does, but this was the data that they wanted to collect in Colorado. Now you can see right off the bat, this is a little bit different. I get prompted when I open the project for the route and cost center. So I can go in here and I can type in, I'll type in I-70 and 444555. There we go. Now, this is something that they wanted to do to improve their post-processing on the back end. They wanted these features that, even though, because we're traveling down the road, maybe the accuracy isn't going to be right on top of the road, but they wanted to be assigned to the road that they're currently driving on. So if they're driving down I-70, they want all of the things that they collect to have an I-70 attribute and have that stored with the features that were being collected. That would help them in their post-process to make sure it gets assigned to the correct road. So what they would do is they use this setting to go in and put in the route and cost center. The cost center is just the cost center for making the repair. They put that information in, and then they go through and do the same kind of data collection that you saw for collecting the potholes. So if a signal post sign is missing, just click that.
Missing.
And then that feature is collected, and it's collected with that additional route and cost center associated with that feature. So it really improves the data processing on the back end. If they go to a different road, they can just go in here and type in whatever that road is. I'm going to screw up and not do a road in Colorado, but you get the idea. So now I'm on 65, and I could drive on that one for a while and collect data along that route. Now, you might notice that in the bottom here, it's giving you an idea of what this is supposed to look like. It's comma delimited, and it has route and cost center. All of this is configurable. And you'll be able to also include things like domains in here. So if you want this to be a drop-down list with just certain values, you'll be able to do that as well, which will be really a powerful feature. Okay, so that's what a night inspection app would look like from Colorado. I'm going to stop mirroring there, and I've got one last demonstration to show one other capability of QuickCapture, and that is around taking pictures. So I'll share my phone again, and you might have noticed that there was one more project here, people down here, and this is just kind of a fun example to show you this picture taking capability. So the idea here is that I'm going to open up that people project, and whenever I see whenever I see different people that I want to store some information about, I can open up this project, and you see I've got them coded for interesting, average, and boring people. And so I'll go ahead and collect one for interesting. And you notice right up for each one of these buttons, I've got that little camera icon. This project has been configured to take pictures, and there's different kind of picture taking capabilities, but I'll show you this one for interesting. So I'll click the interesting button, and the minute I do that, it opens up the camera and wants me to take a picture. So I did some searching on the internet, and I found a great picture of Ishmael. He has no idea I'm doing this, so this is going to be a great surprise for him. So I'll take that picture. There he is doing a great presentation. He's an interesting person, so I'm going to go ahead and send that. And of course, I've got a dashboard that has all my interesting people that are being collected. And as I click there's me, and there is Ismail. So anyway, that's kind of a fun example, but I wanted to show you that you can also take pictures and associate them with the data that you're collecting. In this case, I had it configured so that it opened the camera, and then I did another action to take the picture. You can also have it set up so that it automatically takes the picture right when you click that button.
So that picture of Ishmael was a few years ago, no?
Yes, I think it was. There were several pictures. I decided to get a younger version of Ishmael for the webinar. But with that, I'll turn it back over to Ishmael and Michelle, who has some case studies to show.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Bush, and I'm on the product team here at Esri. I'd like to share a use case from one of our early adopters, Colorado DOT, which we've been learning a little bit about so far from Tom. So Colorado DOT piloted ArcGIS QuickCapture for use with their nighttime retroreflectivity inspections. And as you know, adequate maintenance of assets, such as reflective signs and roadway markings, is necessary to improve visibility and to help prevent accidents. The IT department at Colorado DOT attempted to develop a custom app for this workflow, but they were unsuccessful. Thankfully, QuickCapture worked so well for them that they no longer needed to develop a custom app. So before ArcGIS QuickCapture, CDOT was using teams of 2 to perform nighttime inspections and document asset conditions using paper forms. Then the team would use a scanner to scan the paper forms and email them to their area supervisors. They would also send the scanned forms to asset managers who would manually enter the data into SAP. They also hired interns to manage the data post-processing and entry since it's such a significant undertaking. So after using QuickCapture, there's been a lot of excitement from the users, supervisors, and from the folks at headquarters. With CDOT, the person driving this pilot program was their maintenance department supervisor, and she was responsible for their field data collection. But what they liked about it most was that it gave them improved data accuracy, which provided them just an easy to use form that's configured to meet the team's needs so that they can quickly capture that data while they drive along and record their asset conditions. It also allowed them to do faster data processing. Because the paper forms can get lost, damaged, or sometimes are illegible, this mobile app transfers data digitally instantly. So the data goes back to the office in real time. And they found it helped them eliminate errors and delays due to trying to track down the missing or incomplete info from the paper records. So also they noticed the data entry has significantly been lessened for them, which is great. And they also improved their reporting ability. So because the data is collected digitally, it's already standardized and formatted in a consistent way, and it made it faster and easier for them to create accurate reports. So they've already started implementing it, and they plan to roll it out all over the state of Colorado to cover all regions very soon. So the next steps, so night inspection is just one piece of this whole thing. CDOT is thinking about applying it for other purposes such as daytime inspections and road maintenance. They've also been prompted to think about other parts of this workflow. So after crews have developed data, collected the data and come back to the office, it shows the entire route they took. So if they made a mistake somewhere, the managers can ensure that their crews are following the correct route and then go back and tell them to go back out in the field. So it allows for a better, faster feedback loop and increased accountability within their teams. The maintenance department supervisor is also in charge of work orders for repairing assets and generates reports on defects collected in the field, which all drives funding for the maintenance department. And since they have to send folks out to fix the assets once they've been reported, as Tom was showing earlier, they can use QuickCapture to help with that as well. So with this new efficient inspection workflow, CDOT will be able to more quickly address repairs and provide safer night conditions for everyone who uses the state highway system. Now, I just wanted to highlight some more stories because this app is so versatile. So Maryland DOT is also an early adopter, and they've been seeing really great results so far. They're using ArcGIS QuickCapture to monitor invasive species and track where areas are being sprayed. They're using it for vegetation. They're also seeing great success with QuickCapture for overall field reporting, like Tom was showing earlier, recording debris, litter, objects on the road, potholes, graffiti, roadkill, standing water, where traffic signals are out or where signs are damaged. And they're also using QuickCapture to maintain their hiking and recreation trails. So by identifying downed trees, eroded areas, fences, and barriers, they can make the trails safer and better for their constituents. We've also had other early adopters use it to identify areas for road treatment installation and planning, such as guardrails and rumble strips. And so as you can see, there are lots of ways QuickCapture can be used to capture data quickly without putting extra burden on your field crews. Users have been expressing to us that with the data they're getting in real time, they can correct errors faster, plan more accurately, and ultimately make better business decisions because they have real-time data from the field.
Just a few final notes, kind of wrapping up here, Terry. I wanted to point out a few things that are likely going to come up in the Q&A session anyway, so I may just as well answer the questions right away. So first of all, the mobile app is available for iOS, Android, and Windows operating systems. And we designed it so you can use it not only in the smartphones and tablets, but also in larger form factors, such as toughbooks and even laptops. The app, as Tom described, works very well offline. You actually don't have to do anything special for the application to work offline. It's designed to work offline right away. But if you have connectivity, it can feature these automatic update of the data as you capture it. It integrates with external GNSS receivers. This is something Tom also demonstrated, which is really important for several reasons. First of all, by connecting QuickCapture to an external GNSS antenna, of course, you are going to get better accuracy. The locations are going to be more accurate. But you are also going to be able to extract from this external GNSS receiver important metadata that will help you understand how what's the quality of that data that you are capturing. And finally, because this is an at-speed data collection app, these external receivers are actually important because they can send information to the application much more quickly than the built-in GPS that typical phone carries. So typical GPSs, built-in GPSs will work at 1 Hertz. So that gives you 1 location per second. But external GNSS receivers can give you 10 or even more locations per second. So if you really go fast, this is often very important. If you are using a helicopter, you can get much better accurate and granular locations. And then in terms of support for online and enterprise, we are going to ship initially the application with support for ArcGIS Enterprise 10.7.1 and newer. And of course, it will work in ArcGIS Online. Tom also pointed out designers. I just wanted to say a few words about this. This is a new web application that is used specifically to author these QuickCapture projects. So it gives you a what you see is what you get experience, basically drag and drop. So it's very, very easy to use. And it lets you kickstart these projects from existing feature layers. So if you have already data in your ArcSD database and you have ArcGIS server running with your feature layers, you can actually get this application to import the definition of your feature layer into a QuickCapture project. So later on, you can refine the color, shape, size of the buttons, labels, and so on. Through this application, you can also control the sharing, which leverages the standard security model of groups in ArcGIS, and you can also view the data that people capture with it. Tom already pointed out this as well. I think it's really important to understand that QuickCapture is just another ArcGIS app, which means that as you capture the data, it's immediately available for use in Operations Dashboard for real-time dashboards, in ArcGIS Pro for analysis, or in other mobile applications like Workforce. In fact, we have seen already people using QuickCapture as a first round of data capture, and then using Survey 123 and Collector as applications to follow up on the field observations made from QuickCapture. And it's kind of a nice, feature that we can make all of these applications together. From a licensing perspective, QuickCapture is available as an add-on license to editor user types and above. So many of you have enterprise agreements on which we can actually incorporate licenses for ArcGIS QuickCapture. And then from a scheduling perspective, we have had QuickCapture available in Esri Labs for quite some time, since July last year under the Esri Labs brand. We really appreciate all the feedback that many of you have given us on this application. And thanks to this feedback, we decided to fully productize this application in January this year. So we are very thankful for all of that effort you did with the testing, the pilots, the feedback, so we can really make this application available to you for the long run. Now that we are productizing the app, though, we plan to retire the Esri Labs version and replace it with the real, fully supported and tested QuickCapture. We have an early adopter program. It's already open, publicly available. You have the link right there. So you can join and start using it. And then on June 25th, we will launch the application in the stores and make it available for all of you to use. Roughly, I'm going to say a July release, since we will make this coincide with the users conference in San Diego. And I guess with that, we can go into the live Q&A.
Okay. Great, thanks, Ishmael. So let's see, you did get to the question about increasing the accuracy. How about how customizable is QuickCapture in terms of the assets that you can collect, and can you actually input attributes about the asset as you're going along?
Yeah, that's a great question. The fundamental use case for QuickCapture is very quick capturing of information. So we don't let users type comments every time they push a button. The idea is you push the button, you are done. You can configure rules that will automatically associate certain attributes with that feature. For example, if you are capturing a point, we can automatically capture the speed at which you are traveling, your username, and the direction of travel, the GPS accuracy, and many other variables. We have like 40 plus variables you can associate with these features. But in terms of custom attributes on a per feature basis, the application doesn't do that. That will go more into a survey 123 style data capture. Now, having said this, we do have this notion of user input. We call them tags for the project. So at the project level, you can say every button I push will have these cost center or route ID or comments. But that user input really applies to all the buttons that you push, you capture, rather to individual features, individual buttons as you push them.
All right, let's see. There was a question as to whether you could actually configure QuickCapture to take voice commands instead of pushing the buttons.
This is a research item. This is actually at the top of our list in the backlog. We are already doing some research, and I can anticipate that in a future release of QuickCapture, you will be able to say, hey, Quick, pothole, and it will actually push the pothole button. Yeah, we are really looking forward to implement this feature. It won't be available in version 1 though.
Okay. Another question having to do, the person said, hey, this is really great. How would we be able to collect multiple lane closures? So is that really just a configuration issue?
Hey, Tom, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure, I'll speak to it. I think as far as multiple lane closures go, I think you could just store them maybe with different attributes as to the number of lanes. Maybe have a button that is 1 lane or another button that's 2 lanes, and then depending on which one you hit, that's how many lanes will be closed. You can also collect multiple linear features at one time. So if you wanted to have something like lane 1 closed, lane 2 closed, lane 3 closed, and have those as separate features that you're collecting simultaneously, you could have those as 3 different buttons and collect all of them at the exact same time. So it is definitely a configuration issue and something that is very doable.
All right, next question. Should the QuickCapture app be showing up in the app launcher in ArcGIS Online?
Not at the moment, not at the moment. First of all, the application has not been released yet, so it won't be showing right now. And also I have to anticipate that when we go with version 1, since version 1 is going to be English only, we are not going to show it in the app launcher, just so people outside the US, non-English speaking people, don't get confused. So we will see it there in the probably in 10.8 ArcGIS Enterprise, which is scheduled for release later in the year, and also in the fall release of ArcGIS Online, but not at the moment. In any event, you will be able to go into just quickcapture.arcgis.com and use the application. And you can customize your own app launcher to add whatever links you want. So you can actually make it show if you like in your own organization.
Okay, so the next question is having to do with the CDOT example. Tom, you probably are familiar. Do they actually write the data through an IT firewall to their portal or enterprise, or do they use what's their particular architecture and configuration? Do you know?
Yeah, I was involved earlier on in that project, and so it may have progressed since this point. But at that time, the way that it worked is it was using ArcGIS Online, and they would periodically pull the data out of ArcGIS Online into their internal systems, and they would do some post-processing on that data, take out that tag information that had the route ID and cost center, and use that to associate it with their linear referencing system, and then use that to push it into their work management system.
Okay.
So it was an ArcGIS Online plus a download and scripting approach.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how they got around that. Another question, this person says that in our state, they currently collect cracking data via windshield survey, and they note the values after completing the relevant section. So could the app be configured in a way as to apply the selected values to the correct section?
Yeah, absolutely. You would, as you're driving down the road, you would click the cracking value that's appropriate. Just click the button with the appropriate cracking value for that section of road.
So you would create.
Yeah, to create a linear feature for that section of road, and then you can use that, either just use it directly or do some post-processing to associate that with whatever sample sections that you're using for your data collection or your data reporting.
So I guess, Tom, you are suggesting that in the configuration, you create a button for certain range and then another button for another range?
Right, yeah, something along those lines of, because it's a windshield survey, it's going to have to be, some general categorization of the level of cracking.
Right.
And I'm just saying, whatever that categorization is, we just have a different button for each category. And
like in your pothole example, right? Like big, small,
exactly.
Really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So another question having to do with webhooks, as to whether this could be integrated with webhooks.
Well, very soon, Jonathan. Not in V1, but yes, we are definitely, this is in our roadmap as well. And just for everybody to be familiar, webhooks are a very simple and effective way to communicate different applications together. So through webhooks, you can do things like, every time I submit certain data from the application, I want to automate an email notification or an SMS, or I want to load the data automatically into an Excel file. And we implemented webhooks in Survey 123 last year, wildly successful, because they let you make your data flow through the organization into different apps. And we are follow suit with QuickCapture as well, not V1, but before the end of this year, we will also have webhooks in QuickCapture, that's for sure.
Okay, and part two of Jonathan's question, is there a Windows version?
Yes, Windows, we actually can run on Windows 7, Windows 10, no problem. The setup for Windows, as well as the other applications, are all available through the Early Adopter program. So if you go to the Early Adopter website from Esri, there is a beta opportunity on QuickCapture, and that's where you will find all the downloads and the documentation to try what we demonstrated today.
Okay. Let's see, there's several questions about the licensing. I think you really sort of covered those. If anyone still has questions, please reach out to your local account manager, or you can contact any of us that have on the call as well. Let's see, there's another one. Let's see, you mentioned the use of domain values for QuickCapture. Is this done via the same process as Survey 123 via an Excel spreadsheet, or can it read an enterprise database for domain values?
Yeah, that's a great question. QuickCapture actually reads your existing geodatabase domain, coded value, and range domain values from your feature service. And it really doesn't matter if the coded value domain is associated with a hosted feature layer or a layer hosted in an multi-user enterprise geodatabase. It works with both. Yeah.
Okay. Another question having to do with can QuickCapture actually collect accurate elevation information as going down the roadway?
Certainly. In fact, that's probably one of the main reasons why you may want to connect QuickCapture to an external GNSS receivers, which can give you very decent elevation values. In fact, some of them sub-meter elevation values, and those you can get as a GIS attribute and also as a Z value, elevation value as part of the geometry object.
Okay, let's see, another one. Does this application work with enterprise geodatabase versioning?
Yes, the only limitation is that the application cannot switch dynamically the version on which you are going to post the data. But if you create a feature service pointing to a particular version, we will push the data into that version in ArcGIS DE.
Okay, and Tom, this one's for you. Is it compatible with roads and highways event feature classes, or could it be made to be?
Yeah, good question. The data collection that's done here is just straight up simple features. They're not roads and highways events. However, it would be a pretty simple post process to convert those features into events for those sections of road, and then load those events into roads and highways. So it's not directly, you'd have to handle it with a post process, and you'd convert those simple features into events and then load those in.
Okay, another one having to do with, in the case of natural disasters, and really is more of a, are there options to include housing, property conditions, etc. So
we have talked with some folks about using this for a very preliminary kind of windshield survey type damage assessment, but nothing like the detailed damage assessments that you might do on a bridge or something like that, but something to just indicate that there's perhaps debris in the roadway or signs that have been damaged and their basic location from QuickCapture. Similar to the pothole example that I gave, you could go out and collect that information and then create work orders and direct people out there to probably either do more detailed damage assessment, like if a bridge was damaged and you know this bridge is damaged with QuickCapture, then you might come out and use Survey 123 or Collector to collect a more detailed damage assessment for that bridge, and then maybe from that take it to actually responding to the maintenance issues for the bridge. Or if it's something like a sign, maybe it goes directly through workforce to a maintenance person to go out and replace the sign at that location. So yeah, we have certainly had discussions on using it for that purpose, and it's definitely applicable. You would just configure it for the kind of damage that you want to collect in that way.
So
right. And also sorry, Terry, also in terms of this real-time spatial join or automatically associating the closest address to the point you reported, this is something that will be possible once we implement webhooks, where you can automatically trigger a spatial join as the data gets submitted into ArcGIS. And in that spatial join, you can do point-in polygon queries, you can do reverse geocode or other operations to enrich the attributes on the GIS feature you just posted.
Yeah, excellent point, Ismail. In fact, I have a demonstration that I've given where I show with Survey 123 using those webhooks to automatically associate the linear referencing information from roads and highways. So this ties into that earlier discussion on roads and highways integration. Once we have webhooks involved, we'll be able to do a lot more of that at the transactional level, at transactional level instead of that post process.
Okay, so we've pretty much run out of time. We do have a number of further resources for you. As we mentioned, these slides will be available on the GeoNet Department of Transportation website. And a final point, we will actually be having an upcoming webinar on disaster response and the ability to use mobile collection tools for dealing with disaster response as well. So given that, we'd like to thank you all for attending today. If you do have further questions, please feel free to contact anyone on this call, or reach out and we'll be happy to answer. So again, thanks everyone, and we look forward to seeing you next month for our normal webinar.